literally going to do the Zoom in the bath. I thought that's a bit over the top.
That could have got us some views, that could have, Lerrone. Lerrone, on behalf of Southwest Boxing Media, obviously Kieran Scott and Victor Streetway, thanks, mate, so much for joining us. I mean,
No worries,
how are you, mate? I mean, how was the bubble? You ready to go for this weekend now?
Yeah, got to the bubble this morning. Waited in my room for like an hour or two for my results to come back. Got it all clear, and then went downstairs, done a photo shoot with the media, and I just done my public workout just I think it's like an hour ago. So yeah, been a busy day.
Oh, wicked, mate. I mean, I was camp on anyway. Obviously, not in speaking to many fighters, they often say, you pick up little niggles. No camp is ever perfect, but I mean, I was camping for you this time.
Yeah, camp's always, for me, I'm very lucky, and camp's gone really, really well. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about this fight, and I know it's a hard test, and I just can't wait to showcase my skills and show everyone what I'm all about.
Speaking of camp as well, Lerrone, we saw pictures across social media of you in the Boxing Science Performance Centre, mate. Just tell us, for those that don't know, how much does that add to your game, both mentally and physically, mate?
Yeah, so obviously since I've always worked, I've always done strength and conditioning training, throughout my professional career, especially the last three to 3.5 years. And I've moved up to Rotherham now, Sheffield, and I'm working with Danny Wilson at the Boxing Science Gym. And I've just come on leaps and bounds. As you can see, I'm in great shape. Obviously, muscles don't win fights, but in terms of my lungs and what's inside my body right now, it's working very, very well and efficiently.
Oh, wicked, mate. You've obviously been in a bubble previously, Lerrone. I mean, how do you find them, mate? Are they as boring as you remember, or have you got used to it a bit now?
I'm just used to it, man. It's mad, really. I've got a nice little setup here. In fact, I'll show you my setup, actually.
You had the tunes done earlier, Lerrone. I saw on your story, didn't you, mate?
Yeah. So
what you vibing to, Lerrone? What's the tunes there, mate?
So I've got my TV here, mate. I bought my own TV. This is for the PlayStation, right? And then I've got the TV for the hotel. This is when I want to watch TV. And then I've got my speaker there. So,
nice.
I'm set up pretty nice. So I'm in my boxes, but yeah, I'm set up really, really nice. Yeah. So, yeah.
We didn't have the bath key, but we've got the boxes.
Pardon?
I said we didn't have the bath pictures, but we've got the picture of you in your boxes.
You got the boxes. You got the boxes.
Just want to ask you as well, Lerrone, I saw the PlayStation 5 there, mate. Are you what are you, a FIFA man, or is this something else?
I like Fortnite. I like COD. I like a game called Fall Guys. It's a bit funny. It's a bit childish, but it passes the time. But then FIFA, I do play a bit of FIFA, but not often. That's something my brother usually does. But I do play it, yeah.
I mean, the boxing world is sort of getting back to a bit more normality as we know it now, with fans being reintroduced very soon. We saw obviously a massive show in America on the weekend. So great to see fans, in a packed arena. Just tell us personally, Lerrone, how much are you looking forward to being back out there in front of boxing fans again?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it's been a hard time for everyone, and there's been no crowds. But as professionals, you just need to get on with it. But we all know the atmosphere is so much better with crowds, and I can't wait to box in front of the crowds again.
And what about as well? Obviously, I mean, when we do get back to having fans and things back as well, you probably won't have to do this isolating business. So is a part of you maybe going to miss it because you've got a good setup there, mate? It looks like.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I won't really miss it. Obviously, it's something that I've got to do. But, at the same time, when everything's nice and free and you can do and go where you want, it's a good opportunity to, how can I put it, interact with some supporters. I like, when you go around the areas where you're fighting, you'll get people that come a few days before and you see them around. Oh, how you doing? You're having nice conversations, and it's nice to interact with supporters, man, and give something back.
Oh, wicked, mate. coming on to your opponent, Lerrone, I mean, he's obviously a definite step up, as I'm sure you're aware. You know, he's operated at sort of European level, sort of fringe world level. I mean, as we know, boxing is all about timing and getting the opponent at the right time. Is this the right time and the right opponent, would you say, mate?
It's definitely, the right step up for me. I would have boxed anyone for the European title. As I said, that it's something to learn at every level. And the European was always the target after winning the British and the Commonwealth title. In terms of the opponent, he's got a lot of pedigree. He's a good operator. Someone that I have not taken lightly. I don't take anyone lightly. And I'm prepared and ready for the best that he has to bring.
As well as winning, as the objective as well, Lerrone, is looking good important to you, or are you just one of those fighters, mate, as long as you get the job done on the night, get your hand raised, you're more than happy?
Do you know what? I want to get the job done. The main thing is the W, but also I want to look good. I believe that in my performances before, I've always looked at a good level. I've always looked decent. I've always looked good. But this fight here, I want to put on a good performance. But there's no pressure. I just need to be me. I just need to do what I do in the gym and flow. And then you'll see what I bring to the table.
Is it, do you sort of analyse your opponent, Lerrone, prior to fighting, or is it all about, you just showcasing, like you just said, what you've learned in the gym and putting it into fruition?
That's it, really. Obviously, I'm not silly. I'll have a look and see who I'm going to fight, but I'm not one of them fighters that go crazy and start watching my opponents constantly. That's just not the way I go about my business, because the way he will be boxing someone else, he might box you differently. So that's where it comes to fighters being able to adjust. And I'm able to do that very, very well.
Dikaris brings some sort of, WBC belt with him as well, Lerrone. I mean, does that belt appeal to you as well, or is it simply just to focus on, getting that European title and then moving on, as I've seen you mention, moving on to the world stage next?
Yeah, well, obviously the European title is very, very important to me. But the fight means more to me than the European title now, because you win the fight, you get the belt. It comes in one, So get this fight out of the way, and then we'll look to other belts. But in terms of, the title, very important to me. It's a title that I've always wanted, but the fight is more important.
Lerrone, with sort of these sort of WBC international belts, I mean, the WBA has sort of got a belt for pretty much every occasion as well. Do you have to pay sanction fees for those belts as well? And if so, is that maybe why some fighters relinquish them, do you think?
I'm not too sure. Obviously, that's something that my advisory management team saw at the promoter. I know there is sanctioning fees, but listen, I don't know why fighters decide to sort of vacate and relinquish belts. But I guess if you're going to vacate and you're going to relinquish belts, you've got to do it right. They're definitely doing something that's sort of going to progress their career further than what it is. So I'm not too sure.
I mean, with the WBC International, mate, I think that's what he's bringing to the table. I mean, do you hold that in? Not that you don't hold in high regard or anything, but I mean, it must be all about the European belt for you, isn't it? It
is. It's very important. Every fight's important. It doesn't matter who, who's in front of you. If you don't get the job done, you can't move forward. And I have this, this fight in front of me now. I'm a dangerous operator, and I've got to do the job.
Nowadays, Lerrone, fighters can't wait to call out world champions, mention world titles, but you seem a bit more relaxed and a bit more measured with your approach, mate. And is it just a case of sort of being patient and doing what you need to, and then when that opportunity arises, you're ready to seize it with both hands?
It's all about timing, mate. And I was never going to call out these champions being, let's say, when I first won the WBA European, and I was ranked top 15 by the WBO, and it was my 10th fight. I wasn't going to start calling out the champions then, because it's foolish. It's unrealistic. Yeah. I'm realistic, and I like to keep things real. I'm not going to be a fighter that's going to be saying to you, "Oh, look, I want to fight Canelo Alvarez next," and I want him to come to Great Britain to fight me. Mate, Canelo Alvarez ain't coming to Great Britain to fight Lerrone Richards, unless he wants to do it. Do you know what I mean? So you got to be realistic. And one thing about me, I like to cut the BS and I like to keep it real. And I know that, winning this European title, doors will open, opportunities will come. And when that door has opened, then I can start mentioning names.
Is the reason why you're quite calculated, Lerrone, because you've seen maybe others call out people? I mean, you've been called it yourself, obviously, Willie Hutchinson, it's called you out. And you've seen, obviously, Willie sort of come up short against Clark. Is that maybe why you cut the BS? Because, boxing is quite an unforgiving sport, isn't it?
Well, boxing's about, making the right moves and, doing what's right for your career and progression. I've not skipped any levels, I've not skipped levels, British and Commonwealth. I would have loved to have won the Southern area in English, but unfortunately, them opportunities never came. I was mandatory for the Southern area for 2 years, never got the opportunity. The English is sort of, wrapped up. But I got my shots at the titles and I'm doing things the traditional way. And, that's what happens, when you skip levels and stuff, people fall short. But when I'm in the ring on Saturday, I belong at this level and everyone knows that I've earned my shot to be at this level. I'm not being given opportunity here. I'm a mandatory contender and I just can't wait.
Coming on to Matchroom and Eddie, I mean, it was obviously on the weekend we saw Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo, in such a big fight within your division, Lerrone. Just tell us, I mean, we saw Billy Joe obviously picked up quite a nasty injury. There was a lot of comments and things made over social media. Just tell us your thoughts on those comments that's been made. I mean, we saw the word quitter branded quite often. I mean, what's your opinion on that? Do you think that those comments should be left? I mean, fans are making those comments and they're not putting those gloves on, they're not risking their lives. What's your opinion? Where do you stand on those comments that's been made, mate?
You know what? I'm going to make a statement here because obviously I know Billy. I've got a lot of respect for Billy, but I'm going to say this. Next time I see Billy Joe Saunders, I would rather see Billy Joe that can see me with two eyes than to see Billy Joe Saunders seeing me with the one.
Yeah.
I don't know how Billy Joe Saunders felt. Only he does. But I just hope that he makes a fast recovery. Boxing is not an easy sport. It's dangerous, and when we step in that ring, we're putting our lives on the line. You see, when Billy Joe Saunders goes back and say he did go out in the next round, and I'm not saying that I would do the same or whatever. Look, this is what Billy Joe Saunders did. His corner pulled him because they thought that it was best for him. When Billy Joe Saunders leaves Texas now, he goes to his family. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, mate. 100%.
When Billy Joe Saunders goes back, God forbid, like his sight wasn't great, or he went in to do another round and he was completely blinded by Canelo. The people that have to look after Billy Joe is his family. No one else is going to care. No one else is going to look after Billy. So, whatever decision the corner made, they made it for the best reasons for Billy. And like I said, I'd rather see Billy Joe Saunders next time I see him seeing me with two eyes than the one. So, that's my statement on that. In terms of the performance, from both fighters, Canelo outstanding, very calculated in his approach. Billy had good spurts in the fight, a lot of success in the fight. Won a few rounds in the fight as well, and started to gain momentum, but just got caught by the uppercut. But it was a good performance by Canelo, and he's really flying at the moment. He's very, very consistent.
Do you think anyone beats him at 168 in particular, Lerrone?
At this moment in time, he'll be very difficult to beat. At this moment in time, I'm not saying that no one will be able to beat him at 168, but right now, as it stands, he would be very, very difficult to beat. He's very consistent, and Billy did show a few flaws in him. but no one's really talking about that. But he did. But he's going to be very, very hard to beat right now at this moment in time.
Definitely, mate. I mean, speaking of Matchroom and Eddie, Lerrone, I mean, since signing, I mean, it must have been a massive eye-opener for you with the sort of publicity you've had. You seem to have had more publicity in these last sort of however long you've been with Eddie since you've had in your entire career. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I'd agree with that. I felt like the last people that I was with, I was sort of treated like a side chick. They didn't. How can I put this?
They just put you on the shelf, mate. Is that right? We just sort of another fighter on the shelf, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't active enough. Especially being a champion as well. I wasn't active enough. But one man's junk is another man's treasure, and obviously, I'm with Eddie now, and the future's bright.
Definitely, mate. I mean, before we leave you go, mate, to have a bath. Without giving the game plan away, Lerrone, how is it going to go Saturday, mate? Is it going to be a master class? Is it going to be a knockout? How do you see it going?
Do you know what? I'm just going to be Lerrone Richards. Being Lerrone Richards is enough with a little bit of spice. I can't wait to Saturday night. I'm going to really enjoy myself, and I'm going to put it down. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I know he's going to bring the heat. But
you were going to bring the spice, so that's better than heat, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah, a bit of spice.
Lerrone, on behalf of South East Boxing Media, thanks again for your time, mate, and go and enjoy your bath and go and get that win Saturday, mate, and we'll see you when you're the European champ.
No worries. Always a pleasure, guys. Always a pleasure.
Okay,
Lerrone, nice one, Lerrone. Take care, mate.
Take care of yourself, mate. Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.